Hello and welcome to an episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews. And I'm just doing a little video sort of showing you where I'm at with my Facto Bootleg Shin Godzilla model kit. So this is that resin model kit that I showed off to you guys, that very inexpensive for this sort of scale kind of one, and some people were like, whoa, that's awesome. Some were like, it's a bootleg, go kill yourself. But um, I thought I'd give you guys a bit of an update where I'm at with it, because as you can see, it's not in pieces anymore. Well, it's it's not done either. It doesn't have all the spines, and it's not painted and stuff. But you can kind of get a sense of what it looks like now, if it would go in focus. There we go. Um, and yeah, you get a good sense of the scale of this thing, and I just kind of wanted to, show off where I'm at with this. I've been taking my time with it. I've just had it like whenever I've been free, I just do a little work filling in some of these gaps, sculpting it a bit of stuff just to get it, working basically. Because when you glue this stuff together, you do need to go in. I go in with epoxy putty. I use this stuff basically, some epoxy sculpt, um, which is, a two-part mix that creates like this plasticine kind of thing, and then you fill in the little gaps and you can sculpt in with it, and, make it nice, the transitions between all the glued in bits nice and smooth, and that kind of holds, gets the sculpt looking really good, and it dries into like a really hard sort of plasticky stone-like substance that, you can then work with. Yeah, a couple of things I wanted to talk about this figure. First is that, just like when I was unboxing it, I'm still really impressed by the size. It is a fantastically sized figure. I don't know, you can see what it's like held in my hands here, but for better reference, I'll grab a figure of some kind. Who should I bring in so that you guys would kind of have an idea? I'm gonna grab a Gigan X Plus figure. This one's about 30 centimeters tall. You can see the size difference between these two. So yeah, very, very big figure. Really loving the size of this thing. Um, and it just looks really good once you put it together. One thing that you probably will have to do is when it is finished, I find that the bottom of the feet kind of tilt up when it's sitting on its tail, so it does need a bit of a tail stand when it's done. A very, maybe like a 5 mil thick, so I don't know what that is in inches. It's like a tiny measurement, half a centimeter, something to go under its tail. We'll have him sitting perfectly flat. What else did I want to bring up about this? Yes. Um, an interesting thing is, I don't know if the original was made like this, but this bootleg one is actually, most of these pieces, excluding the head and a couple of bits like the arms and a couple of bits in the tail, are actually hollow plastic. So the resin isn't, filled resin. So I think this piece of the tail here and the tip, so these two bits are actually solid, so they're quite heavy. But then this big chunk here and this chunk here and the body and both legs are actually hollow. So bear that in mind. It does make it just, might make it a bit trickier to do traditional methods of building a resin kit, like pinning it with bits of like little bits of wire. I did try that, but I ended up kind of linking a whole wire, or two wires, through the tail, through the hollow bit, and out the other end into this bit, through these two bits into the body. So it does have those wires. He's mainly been held together, the tail, by glue and an industrial grade epoxy putty, which you can get from most hardware stores. And surprisingly, that did hold the tail pretty well together, so I'm kind of amazed how well it's actually holding. So I was worried this would be very cumbersome and it might fall off and stuff, but somehow I managed to get it to work. What else? The plastic is actually kind of brittle on these sort of bootleg kits, so do bear that in mind. The value on this, I'd still say, is incredible. It's definitely worth the price. and like, you know, just don't mess around with it and you'll have a beautiful thing. But do bear in mind that, yeah, the I've broken some of his fingers and some little bits of like some of the spine tips here and there, but you know, you put them back, you glue them back, it's no big deal. Once you get it, you know, probably painted and primed, it might, you know, hold together a little bit more, and as long as you're not bashing it around, it should be fantastic. So yeah, this is nowhere as sort of durable as something like a vinyl figure like the X Plus figures, which, you know, you could throw at the wall and they would probably be fine. Like, at worst, you'd scuff the paint. I mean, I'm not going to do that, but like, if I were to choose to have to throw one at a wall, it would likely be Gigan and not Shin here. But yeah, overall, loving this thing. Next stage that I'm gonna be doing for this guy, because you see, I put in the middle row of spines here. You can see that I've kind of sculpted in some sort of rough textured stuff to try and make all the sculpt blend in together at the spines. And what I'm going to do, because I'm going to prime this guy in red, he's not quite there. I've still got some minimal work to do with the gap filler to get it, you know, to just be perfect first. Because, you know, I'm in no rush to get this guy done. As you can plainly see from when I uploaded my first video on this one, when I'm uploading this one. I'm actually probably filming this one quite a while before I actually upload it. That's another thing you guys should bear in mind. I rarely upload my videos within the same day, let alone the same week or month as when I film them. So who knows when I'm uploading this? Probably within like a week or two, maybe not. Could be a while. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm up to the stage where I'm almost ready to start priming this guy. Now, the reason I haven't put in all the spines isn't because there's lots of them and I'm lazy, although that is part of it. It's because I want to be able to paint this area really well just at the bottom of the spines once I, you know, in the edges of these spines, when I'm going to prime it in this like red spray paint here. Because, you know, we know Shin kind of glows red, so it's good to prime him in a red, because then you can sort of dry brush a, you know, charcoal gray over that, and hopefully that'll, you know, bring out a nice color and keep that red really still present underneath it, like it's sort of radiating through. But what I'm going to do is show you guys, still got the instructions sort of thing here, it's in Japanese, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I've got my other spines ready. They're sort of on this tray because they're all sort of broken up into bits, but just so I keep track of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug up the holes along the back here with some blue tack. So, you know, I don't know, people call it different stuff in different parts of the world, but it's like this, they call it like poster putty, I think, which is a weird one that they have in the US for calling it, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But yeah, blue tack or glue tack or poster putty, whatever you want to call it, is what I'm going to plug up these holes where the other spines are going to go in, and then I'm going to paint it all, and I'm going to take that off, then we can put in the spines, and then just do the detailing with the epoxy putty or epoxy clay to fill in those, to make them all perfect, and then we can paint those in red again. And then it'll be fully primed. At least that's the plan. So yeah, this is just where my Shin Godzilla Tease Facto kit is up to. The reason, again, I'm doing this video is there's not much information or sort of guides about building these sorts of kits, and especially not about sort of the bootleg ones. So I figured you guys might want to have a good look at what this kit's looking like, and it's pretty fantastic, I gotta tell you. The mouth came together nicely. I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more work around the mouth because I recently just glued that in and haven't done much gap filling around that. But yeah, just give you guys another look at the details on this guy because I'm sure that's what you guys would really love to see. We got feet here, underside looks like this. is really hard to kind of show show to the camera because this thing is very bulky and I don't want to break it, like I said. Yeah, looking great. The only other thing is the eye on this side of the face is a little bit weird. It's not perfectly round either. So I don't know what to do about that. Maybe we should resculpt that in. Um, if this would go in focus, you guys kind of see it's kind of wonky looking, this eye. Um, but you know, maybe Shin Godzilla's eye was a bit wonky looking in the film. Hard to tell. They did seem pretty round though. Um, So yeah, there's him from the back. He actually looks really good with like one big row of spines as opposed to the 5 rows he has um, when fully complete. So if they went with this sort of design with like a more Showa era type spines with like one big row and then perhaps some smaller rows down the sides, that would have looked really cool as well. But yeah, we'll see what he looks like with his um, all his spines in later on, and I'll do more videos on this guy when I get to when he's all put together and primed probably. So yeah, thanks for checking this out. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you've got any tips and tricks and stuff like that, I'd love to hear that because I've done some model kit work, but never a resin kit like this really. And yeah, just good to share advice and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all for this video. May all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out.